This is a WKYT podcast.
Dun, da, da, da.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a long-awaited, at least for us, I don't know if anybody else was waiting on it, but another episode of Conversations with Victor and Andrea. It's only been, 2 months, Andrea?
I know, long overdue.
So, we decided, we would actually get some gumption, some initiative, and start putting these out again. Because even though we may not be able to be around each other, we can still communicate. We can still talk to the people we work with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Andrea's eating right now, so even away from the station, she's still, old habits die hard.
That's so true. I'm always eating my breakfast. Like right now, I'm eating just like a bowl of vegetables. Like it's one of those heat up packets, and I added some cottage cheese and soy sauce.
Wow,
it's a weird combination, isn't it?
Yeah, that doesn't sound appetizing.
I swear
at all.
I'm not pregnant. I swear.
I believe you. So Andrea, how's life going?
Pretty good. I mean, it's weird. Everybody's life is weird. So I don't have any complaints. I know a lot of people are in a lot worse position than I am. So I don't feel comfortable complaining. So I won't.
That's very much how I am. Like things have, there's a little bit of monotony, and we're all kind of getting into our routines. But yeah, I think for us, we're pretty fortunate.
Yeah, things could be worse. Things could definitely be worse. So I'm pretty happy. I mean, there are definitely perks to quarantine. I know you're really enjoying getting to see the little one more.
It is a pretty nice time to be at home. Yeah, with the little girl. She's, talking more and discovering things and jumping on me a lot.
I know. You got to stop sending me videos. It gives me baby fever.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was what was going on. Is Corey going to tell me that?
Cute. I'm like, I want one.
Never mind. I was going to say you're welcome to babysit anytime, but on top of the coronavirus, on top of that, it's like I don't know what kind of
That's true. The COVID
dangerous position you might put her in.
It was your lack of faith in my babysitting abilities.
Well, I'm not going to say that, but I do remember you just giving her your earrings one time when she was little. Be like, here you go, play with these.
Yeah. That probably wasn't wise.
So I watched you the other day take a COVID test on Facebook. And I will say yours looked a lot gentler than mine. It didn't look like they went nearly as far back into your skull.
Right. Well, here's what I'm going to say. I should have anticipated this, but I didn't. I got a lot of heat for this, for getting a COVID test. There's the obvious politics of it, but so many people apparently are upset that mine looked super easy and they had a very bad experience. And I just want to say for the record, I did not ask anyone to take it easy on me. Because that's what I was accused of. Everybody said, oh, they just were nice to her because she was on camera. I'm like, I didn't ask for that. It was just an average test as far as I knew. So I did get my results though, and I am negative. So yay.
Well, that's good. Mine, I've taken 2 of them now, and they were self-administered, and they kept going, push further, and
oh, well, and I will say both of my mom and my brother have had multiple tests at this point, and they both said that theirs were much worse. And I also talked to the people that were administering the test, and they said they used to use much larger sticks, I guess, that you stick up in there to get the sample, and everything's kind of been more streamlined. So I think as the process goes on, it gets a little less painful. And I know everybody does it differently. So I think, that's part of it. And I told the newsroom the other day, I was like, I think we need to do a story about how everyone does it differently. And is there like a right way and a wrong way, or is it just based on where you go?
Yeah. And I think part of it is probably that, just the science improves. So they get better.
Exactly.
And not as incredibly uncomfortable.
I know. I'm sorry I didn't bleed on camera. I should have.
That's what people wanted. They wanted to see you cry.
I know.
All right. Well, today we have someone who we've been meaning to get on here for a while. We finally tracked him down, although it basically just took me sending him a text. But a conversation today with Nick Oliver.
Yeah, a rising star, I think, at WKYT.
And a local person, much like you and I. We get into that some. All right.
But I like Nick. I think he's doing a really good job. And, he talks kind of about just the transition to reporting while we're going through a pandemic, which obviously has come with a lot of changes. And I think he has some good insights into that. And just he, like us, grew up watching this station and coming in, being a little bit overwhelmed by meeting a lot of the people that you grew up watching. It is a strange scenario, a really strange experience that we can relate to. So I enjoyed talking to Nick.
Yeah, it's all, when you realize, oh, these are real people.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there you go. All right. Well, here is our conversation with Nick Oliver. Well, everyone, we are here with Mr. Nick Oliver. Nick, I'm excited that you're joining us today. We've been Andrea and I have been talking about interviewing you for a little while. You have something in common with the two of us. You're a local guy. Well, she's
I am a local
girl.
guy. And you guys must be running out of people if you're having me on at this point in time. Quarantine's been pretty rough on everyone, but yeah, I am a local guy. I'm from Winchester, born and bred, and Kentucky boy. I'm born a Kentucky boy. I guess I'll die a Kentucky boy at this rate. So,
well, I mean, there are worse things you could do than spend your whole life in Kentucky. I think I may end up following that same path. We'll see.
I think we're on that track. Yeah.
All of us, we're all just like, yeah, you know what? Things are pretty good.
We love the bluegrass. Nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with it.
No, nothing at all. It's also been a hot second since I talked to Andrea. We've had a little bit of a delay in our podcast recording, but we've got a new list we're starting, and you're kind of the first of this new batch. But
B-list celebrity.
Oh my gosh!
So you grew up in Clark County, is that right?
I did. Grew up Clark County. Went to St. Agatha Academy, then Clark Middle School, George Rogers Clark, and then Morehead State University. That's where I graduated college. And I enjoy going back to the county where I'm from every single time I get the opportunity, just because it's walking up the old stomping grounds, which is it's a great thing. Winchester's a beautiful place. If you haven't been, it's a place you definitely visit.
So how did you go from Morehead to winding up at WKYT?
Well, so I grew up watching WKYT with my grandma. In fact, I didn't even know a lot of the other Lexington stations existed because my grandma was that dominant of a WKYT fan. And so I remember sitting there with my grandma watching WKYT, I don't want to make Amber feel old, or Sam, I guess, but I remember watching Amber and Sam anchor. And so WKYT was all I really knew. And so I made it a goal pretty young in my life that, hey, I want to be on there one day. Of course, never knowing what the job actually entailed. But so went from graduating college and then went to go work at WSAZ. I did work at WKYT a little part-time in college as a web producer, but went to WSAZ in Huntington, West Virginia, where I worked as an MMJ. I was a weekend anchor there. And then all of a sudden I get on WKYT's website about a year and a half ago, and there's a job open. And I thought, man, if I'm going to jump on this, I need to do it now. And so I had the awesome opportunity coming back home, which is, it's been amazing. There's nothing wrong with West Virginia, beautiful state too, but there's just something about being back home that's just, it's awesome.
I can relate to that so much. I mean, because, I lived with my grandparents growing up. So that is exactly how I got into news, is that, we were always listening to NPR in the car, and we had the news on whenever we were at home. So that really hits home with me. I think another thing, like for you, I had no idea until I did a story the other day, and somebody gave me a bunch of Morehead masks to bring back to the station, how many Morehead graduates we have at the station, and you're one of them.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot, and it's really something a lot of people don't realize, I guess. But you have Brian Milam, you have Amber, we have endless producers that are Morehead grads. Our assistant news director, Pope Cutt, is a Morehead grad. Fox 56 general manager, although obviously she's heading to a different station now, but she is a Morehead grad. So
Chris Bailey, he'd be very upset if we let him out. Chris
Bailey, oh gosh.
Oh Lord,
I'd get an angry text from him. Yeah, can't forget the CB. Yeah, CB is he's a Morehead grad, and I should say probably one of the most recognizable Morehead grads. So yeah, there's a lot of us. We're pretty dominant. I guess we're not going anywhere. So.
Do you think that went into your decision as well, just having so many people, especially at your school? I remember seeing Deanne in the hallway one time at Eastern. Like, she has a picture up in the EKU broadcasting building. Is that something that they kind of are proud of there, that they have so many KYT people?
I think Moorhead is very proud of the fact that there's so many WKYT people. I think it's something they have a lot of pride in. And really, I think it's something that they just look at and it's a big recruiting tool. I mean, I remember going on tour Moorhead. That's what they said to us. Look at Amber Philpott and Chris Bailey. Oh my God, they're on WKYT. And, so that's a big recruiting tool. Now, as for that Eastern stuff, I don't even know. Eastern who? I'm not even sure who that is. So.
Nick, I think I'm losing you. Sorry. Let me. Oh no, yeah, I didn't even hear that. Sorry.
EKU boy too.
There's quite a few.
Bryant,
I was gonna say there's Bill Bryant. Yeah, so it's like there's two big pillars of the newsroom there. That just
Hey, all I know is I've never heard of that Eastern place. So.
That's one of the things cracked me up. I remember at EKU there'd be all the jokes for EKU, and then all the jokes for Moorhead, and then you get out and you realize it's pretty similar. I mean, it's like
it's pretty much the same. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much the same, but in a weird way, we are definitely way more superior. But I guess it's similar. We'll just.
See, I was trying to offer an olive branch, and instead,
let's not hurt anybody's feelings. So.
I'm just so proud of that school with a funny name. All right,
Victor. By the way, when you texted me, I realized that I saved your name in my phone as Victor Punty.
You know what? That's not the worst way somebody's ever pronounced it. So,
speaking of Bill Bryant,
he's gotten pretty good at it. There used to be some other people who worked in the morning.
Real quick, can everybody do their best? Can everybody just do their best "I'm Bill Bryant" impression? I'll go first.
Okay.
Good morning. I'm Bill Bryant. That's pretty good. I feel like
you got to do a ho.
Ho.
That's what for some reason I've never even heard Bill do this, but everybody's impression is ho. That's Bill Bryant.
Yeah, that's Chris Bailey's favorite impression. Is he just goes ho. that's his impression of
Bill
Bryant. Bill Bryant. Yeah, mine's not very good. I got the ho down. So what was it like for you when you started working in the newsroom with all these people that you grew up watching?
So again, when I first stepped in the newsroom, I was part-time and I was in college, and it was weird. Amber, I think, hates the story, but I'm gonna tell it anyways. God bless her. Amber Philpott gave me a tour of WKYT when I was in 7th grade. So it's I guess come full circle, but yeah, it's weird. You see all these people that you recognize on TV for so long, and all of a sudden you get to know them. And thankfully, you hear horror stories at other stations that people just aren't the same. But I'm being transparent with you out there. It's pretty much what you see on TV. I mean, we're all like really chill and relaxed people. There's a big reason you never hear of craziness happening with us, and that's just because we're all so chill and calm, and we're all so personable, and we're all just really proud of what we do, and that's the biggest thing. The Sweetheart Award in the Nick Oliver book, though, goes to Barbara Bailey.
I knew you were going to say that.
She is so gentle and so kind. Barbara, when I was part-time, definitely had no clue who I was. I knew who she was, but had no clue who I was. And it was around Christmas time. And Barbara's such a sweetheart. She brings around, I think that year it was hot chocolate powder for everybody. She had no idea who I was passing around to everybody, and then stops at my desk and goes, "I know you're working hard too. Merry Christmas to you," and gives me some hot chocolate powder. And it was a big moment. I was like, "Barbara, can you autograph?" No, I'm just kidding. I didn't get her autograph. But yeah, I mean that's just really who is in our newsroom. It's just, I mean, what you see is what you get.
I will say, anchoring next to Barb, you get to see a little bit of a different side. She's a little saucier when you're sitting next to her on the anchor desk, and I love it. Like we've developed more of a relationship anchoring next to each other because you get to see more of each other, and like you give each other a hard time. And so like they're, for the longest time, we've talked about when you come into the newsroom and you kind of have these icons and you hold them up onto a pedestal. And now I feel like I can pick at Barb, like we pick at each other because we have that relationship. And so then it's funny whenever you see the other side of somebody and see her get saucy about something, and it's just
I feel like it's a compliment from her because she is so sweet, and I think that's what she likes. That's who she is, honestly. But like,
I've never seen a saucy Barb, and I don't want to.
That's the thing. I think when she feels like she can, let loose about something next to you, you're like, all right, yeah, we are all human.
She's got a backbone because, mean, she used to talk about the fact that, when she started, there were no women, like she got in trouble for wearing pants, silly things like that. Like, she had to have some grit to be able to
she had
get
to stand
through
up for herself
that
for a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Has
So
Barbara been on your all's podcast yet?
she has. She would
did,
only do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
She'd only do it if she would do it with Bill. So she wouldn't do it by herself. She said she was nervous.
Right.
And we're like, you're on TV every day here.
Well, that deserves, I mean, the Barbara Bailey story, that deserves an hour podcast. I mean, that is some good stories and it's some really inspiring stuff for other young female journalists out there.
Yeah.
And I'll say from the other perspective, it is interesting when somebody who's in the business tells you like, oh, I used to watch you because we had a Gray TV workshop one time, and there was an anchor who works at BKO now, and she came up to me, she's like, I used to watch you when I was in college. And I think I still feel bad about it. I was having a bad day. I was like, oh man, I'm that old, huh? And I think I just walked away. And now
We're getting there.
Man, it's
getting there.
I thought about sending her a message, just be like, look, I was having a bad day. I'm real sorry.
I spoke to a Moorhead class, I guess last fall, and this young girl from, I think she was from Bath County, came up to me, said, I watch you on the news all the time, and I'm in journalism school. And I was like, oh my God, like, what? Like, and it's weird that so many, I guess that I need to find something better to watch, better reporters than me out there. But it is a compliment. And Victor, I remember watching you too. I mean, I do. I remember seeing you on there, I guess, when you were just a piddly small little reporter like me.
Yeah.
And now look at you.
Little one-man band. Now I'm anchoring from home and stepping on my daughter's toys and breaking
now
them.
Now you're a one-man studio. Yeah.
Well, so let's talk about that. How long were you, because you've been here a little while now, so we talked to like Shelby. She basically just started and then immediately almost went to lockdown, whereas you got to get the full experience for a little while before everything changed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've been in I guess I've been in newsroom since 2015, I guess. But I guess like in the WKYT newsroom, I've been in there since May of 2019. And so, yeah, I mean, you don't realize how much you need people inside that newsroom until you're out on your own. And it just kind of shows you the value of teamwork, I guess. But, it was different. It's just a completely different ballgame. And in a lot of the ways, I liked it better. And then a lot of the ways I don't. So, for example, I guess some way I like it, I like it better is that, there's a lot of processes in terms of sending your video into master control and this and that, whatever, when you're inside. Well, when you're outside, it's a different process. It's just really simple. And you almost feel like you have a little bit more time in your day. But, when you're outside the newsroom, it kind of feels like you're kind of out of the conversation sometimes. And it feels like that, you have to work harder to be kept in the loop. And that's nobody's fault. But that's just the nature of the beast of what we're dealing with.
You are definitely, just kind of out on your own little island. You see the list in the morning of what everybody's working on. And as opposed to being in the newsroom afterwards where everybody kind of reconvenes sometimes and hearing those conversations, it's kind of, you have to make the effort to reach out. Because one of the things, having worked in other newsrooms, is that I noticed here a lot of times they will give you kind of autonomy. I mean, if you are out doing your thing, they're not checking on you all the time. Occasionally it's, they'll once a day, basically, they'll be like, hey, how's your story going? And that's it. And so if you need help or if you have an issue, you kind of have to let them know.
Right.
Which is a good thing. I like that they trust us to do our work, but
yeah, if you're self-reliant, you will thrive in this area, in this environment right now. So
let's talk about outside the station, because I think that's part of what people find interesting. I was shocked because you have a baby face, which I've never had. I mean, since like middle school, I've
never been told I have a baby face, but I'll accept it.
You do, and you're lucky. I feel like you look maybe a little younger than you are, and I envy you. But I mean, you're a married man, right?
I tell you what, I'm hitched to the most beautiful girl in the world. Yeah. My wife her name is Savannah. She is the balancing. I guess she's like the balancing tool for my life, and She's awesome. She's an ICU nurse, which is really, really awesome. Something we're really, really proud of. But yeah, I mean, I don't honestly, now that I'm married, I don't even know how I survived on my own for so long. But she keeps my head above water.
I wish Corey would come in right now so he could say the same thing.
I had a doctor tell me that one time. He said, that's why married men live longer, is because their wives force them to go to the doctor.
Take care of you all.
It's just things you never think about. It's things you absolutely never think about. I mean, when I was a bachelor, I don't know if y'all probably can't relate to me. I don't know, but I never hung my clothes up. I basically, my closet was my dryer. And so I just washed my clothes, leave them in the dryer. And then you turn that dryer on, you fluff it for about 20 minutes. Andrew, I can see your face right now. You're shocked. You fluff those bad boys for about 20 minutes. You pull them out. It looks fresh. But when you're married, you can't do that. But it's made me a better man because I've learned how to hang my clothes up.
See, that's flipped in our relationship, because whenever I first started going to Mandy's apartment, like, her closet was a pile of clothes. That was, it's like there's a clean pile and there's a dirty pile. Whereas I am, it's like, oh no, it all has to be washed. It has to be folded. It's got to be put up, a place for everything and everything in its place. Laundry is the only thing I'm like that. The rest of my life's a mess. But so I'm doing our laundry. But I'm glad that you got that sorted out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you came back.
Okay. Are you going to be able to edit all the mess ups out? Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I may edit it. I may not. We'll see. It's one of those things that if you know what you're listening for, you may. But I've gotten pretty good at messing around with Andrea's F-bombs and all that stuff.
Oh, perfect.
It's like one time.
Okay, well, we're rounding third here with our conversation, Nick. I guess what's it been like, just making that adjustment to knowing that we may be operating like this for a while?
First off, let me say that I like all my managers, so I don't get in trouble, old Victor Puente and Andrea, for this dang podcast. But I like it. I like being out on my own. I like doing my own thing, and I feel like I have a good work ethic, so I think it's working pretty well. News is changing all the time, and I would not be shocked at all if this is something that moving forward they continue for us. And if that's what they choose, then I'm cool with it.
And in a way, that could be kind of a good thing, because I think about, people live in different communities, just in the morning, as far as our team is concerned, like Bill lives in Madison County. I live in Jessamine. Jim lives in Winchester. It's like, maybe that would be a way for us to better cover our communities, because we're already all spread out, and that could be an organic way to do that. It's just everybody kind of works in their community. And
that's the thing. Everybody's basically doing now what Phil Pendleton already did.
I know.
Yeah, essentially. Phil's been doing this for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the original GOAT.
Yeah. I think
I used to envy him. I'm like, that'd be kind of cool. I kind of like that. You just do your own thing.
Yeah. I think a lot of what we're discovering is we've changed some stuff, and some of it, some of it isn't as good, but some of it is. Some of it, it's like, oh, this actually makes things easier, and I think it's helping us. And so, necessity is the mother of invention. So, we're figuring stuff out, and if it helps us all in the long run.
Well, we did a story the other day where I think it said 90+% of people like working from home better than they do going into work like they normally did.
I believe that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like there are days whenever I'm done because I'll get my stories done ahead of time, and then I'm done anchoring, and then it's like, okay, I'm good to hang out with my daughter, and so I see why people like that.
Right. And I think a lot of people like it too. I mean, their jobs are completely different from ours. A lot of people, some people are stuck in a cubicle all day, and so now you're giving them the opportunity to sit by a pretty window and watch the bird feeder all day. And I think it's awesome.
Well, Nick, I appreciate you joining us today, taking time out of your Sunday, and I'm sure we'll all see each other at some point in the future.
We'll wave at each other from 6 feet away. How about it?
There you go.
There you go. All right. Thanks, Nick. Bye.
Oh, I'm in the news business. I know better than to read comments that people post under my stories, and yet I still read them. Name. I know better, but I can't help it.
Well, that's okay. We'll start our out.
You should include it. Okay.
All right, we'll start with that then. So there we go. We're on the backside of our conversation with Nick. It was a fun time hearing growing up in Clark County, going to Moorhead. A couple of EKU people here ourselves. So I guess we'll we'll let that slide.
Here's what's funny. I started my college career at Western, so I'm not aware of all the like rivalries, I guess, between Moorhead and Eastern. So I didn't realize that we are supposed to apparently be pitted against one another. But apparently we are.
I think it matters more to some people than others.
Yeah, I didn't go to a single football game.
Oh
I was so lame. I was not a cool kid.
I went to a few, but yeah, I was basically there to get my education.
I was there to study, adjust my glasses.
Well, there you go. All right, well, Andrea, what have you been doing to keep sane? Have you finally? Because I know you were working your way through you watched a lot of the Marvel movies. I was proud of you for that.
Yeah. Oh, I've gotten really into the Marvel universe. I love it. I love every bit of it. We've watched a lot of TV.
I mean, that's everybody. Yeah, we've kind of.
I know. I'm like, but I was doing that before quarantine, so I can't really say I've changed. My life hasn't changed all that much because I'm one of the few people that still goes to work. So the work environment has changed, but like my day-to-day hasn't changed that drastically, which I guess is a good thing. We started watching Wild Wild Country yesterday. It's like this.
I've looked at it. It's about a cult, right? That basically takes over a town.
Yeah. So I listen to Armchair Expert a lot because, I'm a huge podcaster. Mm-hmm. I listen to every podcast there is. That's what my brother makes fun of me anytime I say something. I'm like, I was listening to a podcast the other day. He's like, shocker.
I think Mandy goes through the same thing.
Yeah. But so Dax loves Wild Wild Country, which means I love Wild Wild Country. So I decided I would start it. And it's fascinating so far. I'm 2 episodes deep and it's very interesting.
I think I've mentioned it on the show before, but I'd started watching Dark, and then at some point I stopped watching, but now I'm really back into it. I'm halfway through the second season. I'll probably finish it all over the next few weeks. And I if you're somebody like me who really got into Lost, kind of like the mysteries and the mythology of it, it's I think it does a really good job of making you want to study stuff outside of it to try to connect dots.
Well, I think my next venture is going to be Fargo. I hear so many good things about Fargo. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about that too.
So that's on my list.
We watched The Floor is Lava, part of it.
I played that game as a child. We jumped from furniture to furniture.
It is absolutely ridiculous, and it's you turn it on and you just kind of laugh for 20 minutes, and that's it. You don't need more than
heard of this.
It's on Netflix. It's a game show where they're in this room full of it's basically colored water, but there's like furniture scattered all throughout, and there are different themes, and they have to make their teams of 3. They have to make their way, basically across the room, and there are different paths they can take. And my favorite part of it is if you fall into the water, they don't show you then bobbing back up and then swimming out of the room. According to the show, when you fall in, you die. That's it. You're gone forever. Like people literally, they just disappear. They go in and they're like, no, David will not be back.
Never existed.
And their other teammates are just, no. And so it's, you never see them again. That's it. They fell in the water and they died.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Into the lava. So, it's one of those shows
Ruthless.
that, 5 minutes into it, you can tell if you're into it or not. So, yeah.
Well, I'll consider it.
There you go. And then I've also been working my way through a podcast called Binge Mode Harry Potter. It's put out by the on the Ringer network. Like Bill Simmons, who used to work for ESPN and has his own thing now. They do this really deep dive on Harry Potter, and they go through like 5 chapters at a time and the themes of it and stuff. And so it's been really good.
That sounds like a really good way to get through quarantine.
Re-exploring that world. Yeah, it's almost like, rereading all the books without having to reread them.
Or you could reread them and follow along with the podcast.
There you go. That's something else you could do too. All right, well, Andrea, it was good catching back up.
I know.
We'll have to do it again sometime.
We've not been staying in touch like we should.
It's hard. Well, that's the funny thing is how many times we've been like, we should record a podcast this week. And we're like, yeah, we should. And then
we never speak of it again.
Exactly. I'm not busy. I'm not doing anything. I'm just scrolling through my phone for 4 hours or laying on the floor while my daughter jumps on me or just, although I saw somebody else talking about how just surviving during this time right now is is exhausting. And if you're doing that, you know, hey, that's
Listen to
good
this.
enough.
The other day, I heard, I think on a podcast, naturally, that if you scroll through on the internet for like 2 hours a day, social media, which I think is like not crazy. I mean, it is crazy that we're to that point, but I think most people probably are guilty of it.
Oh yeah,
Scrolling through social media 2 hours a day adds up to like a month of your life, a year.
I believe it.
I don't think the math adds up, but I think
Well.
it's, or maybe if your waking hours, I don't know, but basically we just waste so much time looking at social media. It's sad.
Yeah, we should pick up a hobby. What should we learn to do?
I don't know, exercise.
Well, I'll tell you what. You and I will each start writing a novel,
Oh
and
gosh, no.
at the end of this, we'll see who's is best.
Oh, yours will be best. I did buy a pair of boxing gloves the other day on the Amazons, and I think that's what I'm going to start doing. Is Corey wants me to start boxing with him, so that's what I'm going to try to start doing.
I like it. You're going to show up, at noon with a big shiner, and people can be like, "What's going on?"
What? Nothing. My boxing gloves are pink. I think people would be interested to know or not surprised to know.
Well, yeah, let us know when that's happening, and we'll share the video.
I will say it's a good workout. Like 45 seconds of me just punching against his little like hand pads that he has.
Oh yeah,
I'm winded.
it's great. It's very intense. Your body's not used
It
to that
is.
kind of action. Like, yeah, just punching just a heavy bag is
Whew.
all right. Well, everybody, go explore something new, and hope you all enjoyed our conversation. We've been reaching out to some of our other coworkers, and we're going to talk to whoever really feels like it.
We'll do better.
You know what? I feel like we're doing all we can.
There you go. That's true.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye.